There, I'm recording. What a weird angle. I'm sitting down at my rack preparing the rest of the 20 tendons, preparing them into usable sinew. I'm ahead of the game here. I was hoping to have the two elm bows and then that recurved Osage bow sinew backed by Monday, and I pounded and prepared 14 tendons, 14 yesterday, and sinew backed the two elm bows last night. I got back from my day job and took the gauze off one of them, the one that had the JB on it. Beautiful, looks beautiful. And I just left the two layers of gauze because I'll put one on a little light so I don't shift the sinew because it's so fresh, and then go back over it, really tighten it. It looked good. And so I figured the other one was just as good, so I'll just leave it for a few days. But right now, I've got to prepare the final 6. I've got 4 more. I haven't finished preparing these, but I do it production line style. For those of you who have never experienced the joys of pounding sinew, let's do one here. Production line, so I'm not going to do it to the finished product, but I'm going to do it close. How many components, this is your quiz, are there to a deer tendon? 3. You shall see them up close and personal. I like this rack. It's perfect. It's smooth enough not to damage them, but it's got enough friction so if I want to hammer on edge, it won't edge. If you thin them out by hammering, now they might get kind of flat and they're not going to slide off. Component number 1, which is not really usable. An elk number 1 component would be, but these whitetails are short, so I'm going to put it in my box of sinew scraps to be used at some point in glue. And I don't need to like blacksmith these things. Plus, repetitive motions, you know, when you're older and stuff, you don't want to like overtax the body. There, it's coming apart. Component number 2. You have 2 Ys. This flat Y is kind of nice because you can just pull it apart. The second one, nah, you can't. You can't wishbone that thing because it's a weird kind of a braided thing going on. And so it's on edge and it's not sliding around. These little portions of the Y, just pound it flat. Make sure I get the ends nice. The parts that don't get kind of separated and fluffified by pounding, they will when you separate them. You got this nice end of the spoon. It's nice and round. Don't tell my wife I've got one of her nice spoons down here. And I'm going to separate this Y into 2 Ys. Now this is weird. Don't think about it too hard, but once you separate it into 2 Ys, you can separate those Ys into Is. And that goes in the pile. They're going to be further processed. But yeah, that's what it takes. And now these bigger things can be then carefully pulled into smaller fibers. Now I use my wet method, right? And so I'll take my prepared fibers and put it in a Ziploc bag that's got a weakened hide glue mixture. That means that these things are never gonna, you know that you make arrows and bows if you have to floss sinew out of your teeth. But they're never gonna get dry again. So one tactic I use is I'll take a grouping of them and just quickly run them under the sink, under the faucet, get them damp. And they'll they'll pull apart into the smaller fibers a lot easier and you get less waste. And so I might do that. If you're going to do I'm going to create a bunch of little bundles, put them on my bench, dip them in the hide glue, and then put them on a bow. Don't do that. You never want to get these things wet once you process them into the usable fibers, unless they're immediately going to go into a bath and not be allowed to dry out until they're on the bow. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I've got the 2 elm bows sinew backed, and my goal was to do it by Monday. And I need one more layer of sizing on the Osage bow, but yeah, that thing is going to be sinew back today. Now this morning, as I'm sitting there at 5:45 in the morning, I got up at 3:30 and came down here and worked before work. And after work, I'm coming down here to work until I'm done with my job, making bows. Sitting there thinking, there's a lot of you that have never made a bow before. And it might be kind of intimidating. You might have tried to make a bow, but you didn't make one that was successful. Now I was thinking, and it's kind of an honor system, which you can get away with in this field of endeavor because people into primitive bows are honorable, ethical people. Generally speaking, there's always that fringe out there. But if I was to, not fully tiller, but a lot of the groundwork was done on an Osage stave, so it kind of looks like a bow. You just have to, finish it off, put the string grooves in there and stuff. If I was to, this is a stave, work down to one growth ring, work down to the face shape or close with the pencil marks on there, and then you would just sand it to the final shape, sinew back it, and then final tiller it. And there's plenty of videos on all that stuff. Help you out. If in addition to the almost bow, say it takes 6 tendons, plus tip wraps, 6 total tendons. If I was to include 3 of these things, and then maybe 1 or 2 that were to this point, and then 1 little bundle, 1 tendon's worth of tendons that are now sinew, ready to put on a bow so you can see the different stages. If somebody would be interested in something like that. I mean, I can't just use my staves and send off a bunch like that, but I'd be willing to do 1 for a person that's never made a bow before that wants to have a sinew-backed Osage bow. I might consider that, but we'll see. Well, every fiber in my body is saying just lay on the couch, watch some YouTube videos, and eat some chips and some bean dip. But I have tendons to prepare and a bow to back, and I do look at this as a job. And once I'm done with this, maybe tomorrow I'll just goof off. Probably won't. But then I'll start on the hickory bow, the black locust, and the Osage banana over there. Start that process while these are drying. Well, my friends, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I better actually stop talking and get back to work.